from remove yourself from the screen and then go live. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
You can go live. Sandra. Okay,
Doc, we are live. We are live.
good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day this morning, and we're here on a very special day. It's the day of it's 20th day of the 100 days of, and we are here very excited. We are here really making things happen, and I'm very, very happy because this journey is not also it's not a solo journey. It's a journey supported by many, and we have been coming on this platform every Tuesday for the last 5 years, so, and we are still counting. So people who believe that productivity, mindset change, and leadership at every level can change our organizations and our country. This morning, I am especially happy because I am having this discussion with someone who is part of my support system and part of the team that is helping make my role as productivity ambassador meaningful and impactful every single day. As you know, he is taking pictures, he is taking videos, and I'm just so happy that today he is the one that we are featuring. And we are featuring, this session is not even just like a lecture. It is a conversation about leadership, change, growth, and personal transformation. So our topic for today is leading change at your own level. Leading change at your own level. Why do we say so? Because change does not begin when you become a permanent secretary, when you become a CEO, or when you become a director or manager. Change begins from where you are, with what you have, and with the influence you carry every day. So today I'm joined by Dr. Stephen Mwansa, who served as permanent secretary for over 10 years and has transitioned into the private sector. And he is consulting in his consulting space. So his journey itself is a lesson in change, is a lesson in adaptation, and is a lesson in leadership. So Dr. Stephen Mwansa, please welcome to the Free Mentorship Academy. And this academy is just us making sure that whatever we're doing, we are putting it out there to our community. So let me start with this first question. You served as permanent secretary for over 10 years. From your experience, when does leadership and change really begin? Does it begin with a position, or does it begin with mindset and behavior? And as we transition into your story, you spent many years in the public sector and in a structured environment with clear systems, reporting lines, and institutional authority. Almost 5 years now, you have transitioned into the private sector, which is often faster, less structured, and more flexible. What were your biggest differences you noticed moving from public sector leadership into the private sector environment? And just feel free, it's a discussion, and you just have to go all over the place and just give us, or the viewers or the listeners, what it is that you can tell us. Over to you, and very much welcome.
Thank you very much. A very good morning to all
You're
listeners
muted.
and the viewers out there. You read?
You're muted, please unmute.
Are we okay now? Hello? Good morning. Can I be heard? Am I all right now?
Sorry, we've got a technicality. I need to take this laptop
people
to
can
him
hear me.
so that he can share the conversations that we are talking about. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, you can go ahead and use this. Is it working now?
Should be. A very good morning. Can I be heard now? Am I audible? Yes. This is, Happy says we can hear him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Morning, we can hear you, Dr. Stephen. Please continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much indeed. Sorry about that. It was sometimes what you call the challenge of change and digital change. I totally resonate with the fact that mindset is the catalyst, and it changes how you see challenges, opportunities, and people. When you shift your mindset, action will follow, and that's where the change starts. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or title. It's about leveraging your current space to make an impact. Position can amplify your reach, but without the right mindset, it's just the title and nothing else. I love the point about driving change through behavior, and that's where the rubber meets the road as you move on your journey. Curious for those transitioning roles or navigating change, it would be good to assist this chart if you shared the mindset shifts that you've had with us when we start the chat or in the background. How you found this mindset shift on your journey in transition, especially for my colleagues that worked with me when I served in a public service, and there are lots of them out there, and even those that served before. So there it is. Mindset shift is the core and is the catalyst. And that's what you need to be able to effect the necessary change. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Because whenever we are making things happen, we are talking about the biggest things. So, what was the biggest mindset adjustment you personally had to make in this transition?
The biggest adjustment, was in terms of time movement and indeed activity, you know, moving from public to private sector was a total shift in the pace at which things happen and the approach. In the private sector, I found more agility in decision making and a stronger focus on outcomes over processes. In the public sector, it's the reverse. The one key difference was adapting to less bureaucracy, but more emphasis on speed and innovation. That's what happens in the private sector. And I would equate public sector and private sector in terms of comparison to the speed between a speedboat and a supertanker. A supertanker turns very, very slowly. And by the time it turns around, certain factors may have changed. The speedboat turns immediately when it sees a tidal wave coming back to shore at full speed. But the advantage with the supertanker is that by the time you get response from government, you are very, very unlikely to get another response. I mean, another letter calling back the letter they've written to you. So it is because that's a much more consultative process. And when you write to one ministry, the answer may not come from that ministry. It has to come from a multitude of ministries. So that ministry has to write to all those ministries instead of sending you to all those ministries. Thanks.
That was really, really powerful. And when we sit in our own spaces, those are some of the things, like I always say, we need to know about how a super tanker works so that we can be part of the, of the change that is happening in those areas. And this is what makes the difference. And this is why we are so happy to have you here. Um, so, can you explain what you mean when you said you needed to unlearn, relearn, and retain? And this I'm talking about because just a week into your private sector role, you enrolled in the Mindset Change Process program. And during that session, when I personally asked you, because I was the one facilitating that class, I asked you the 3 questions. You said something very, very powerful and emotional at the same time. And I want to actually quote you. You said, I will endeavor to unlearn, the PS, structure, relearn my new position, and use my experience to retain what I can use where I am going. So for me, this really spoke to me, and it made me realize that change indeed is possible. And I just want you now to, and you also end your name, because when you are talking about the things that you're good at, so we discovered that you were a strategist, and this is the name that, the MCP name that you have. So can you just explain what you meant when you said you needed to unlearn, relearn, and retain the good things that you are, that you are talking about, or that what you're going to be doing in the future? Over to you.
Thank you very much. That's a deep question. And what I meant when I said I had to unlearn, it meant I had to let go of the comfort of the established public sector processes and adapt to the private sector's fast-paced, get things done approach, outcome driven. Because in the public sector, it's actually process. Yes, you get outcomes, but the outcomes do come after a long consultative process. In private sector, the outcomes are required now. If you have to take a decision to avoid the product line continuation, you have to do it now. So it was about unlearning the how I do things and how I've always done things, and embracing new ways to drive results. Training the new self means that I've built a decision-making framework that is agile, focused, and impact-driven, also adaptable. And I think I also learned the skill for that in the sense that I'll be normally I was supposed to be a very patient person in waiting for, but I've had to balance between being very patient and ensuring that I push to get things done. So that is what is expected of me in today's business landscape. And in the digital world, everything is at a fast pace. The degree of obsolescence is high, and I'm expected to run. So I came from merely pushing to running to ensure that things are done.
That's powerful. Even when I'm seated here, I'm saying, oh, learning how to run. And this is sometimes where the differences come from, where people in a public sector, they are waiting for information to be given to them so that they can do the next step. If the file hasn't moved, it means the instruction is still pending, and that is a very big difference from private sector, because I'm going to stand on your head and say, we need this to be done today. So unlearning that, I really give you a lot of respect and a lot of kudos, and just saying, oh wow. So it is, for me, everything relates to the 6 areas of life, where you're saying, what are you doing in each area of life? And so, asking, or you being malleable, and you being able to unlearn certain things that were not going to be useful, is something that the people that are listening to you today can be able to take on. And this is why a lot of people, we have discovered that they are clinging to their name. Oh, this is pastor and so, pastor and so. So when you remove your title, you can still lead at your own level. So in the mindset change process, the 3 questions that we give to each and every participant when they've got their personal reflection, as they are looking in the mirror and really looking, not the way they look, but how their mind is shifting. So during the mindset change process, we ask these very important questions, and I would like us to discuss them because they relate to leading change at any level. So what are you good at? I mean, we asked you this question, what are you good at? This question is about self-awareness. From your many years in leadership, what would you say you are really good at? And also you can say what are the strengths and leadership abilities you discovered about yourself over the years. And I just want you to open up and share with the people that are listening. Maybe you'd be able to uplift someone.
Thank you very much. It's interesting that I have to talk more deeply about myself, but I'll just say over the years in leadership, I've discovered that I'm good at connecting the dots, bridging strategy with execution, and bridging teams together around a shared vision. That's what I carried in my leadership approach. My strength lie in strategic thinking and empowering teams and driving results through a consultative and collaborative process. And key ability I've developed is listening to understand, not listening to respond, which seems to be a problem sometimes with the people, and that's a problem I also had prior. And over time, I've learned that the more you listen, the more you answer, the less talking you talk only when you must. And I've also helped that to ensure that I have a different mindset for that. It has helped in building trust and and drive and team run with you. I've also learned to leverage diversity and inclusion in order to drive innovation, and I've become more adaptable to navigating complex situations and stakeholder landscape. Ultimately, leadership is about empowering those to succeed, that those around you that look at you as their leader to succeed. And my focus was always trying to ensure that that happens. You get say, look, there are people that follow you, and one day they'll get into your position. But you find that at times in the public service, the person that takes over from you is not even the one that you've been working with, it just comes from somewhere. But have the team ready, and as much as possible, I would plead for those that are ready to take positions instead of accepting somebody from being brought in from outside. And why? Because that somebody would probably come and interfere with the culture that we've built in terms of consultative and collaborative culture. Thanks. I think that says a lot.
Indeed, it says a lot, and I can even hear in the comments where people are commenting, learning from the best, strategic thinking is critical, and just being able to unlearn old knowledge, like it's coming from Uplifter there, and learning from the unlearn old knowledge to embrace new ways of thinking or doing things is really, really so critical. And when we are in there learning and unlearning the things that we want to have, where will you be in the near future is one of the questions that we ask for direction. This question is about direction and vision. When leaders are going through change, how important is it for them to have a clear sense of direction about where they are going? And this is, now from your experience, what happens to leaders or professionals who do not know where they are going? And how can you be able to guide from your own experience?
Great question. Thank you. Moving into a new phase, I realized that I needed to shift from being a doer to an enabler, trusting my team more and giving more space to others to lead, even in a situation whereby I'm ultimately answerable for what they do. So I have to trust them. I had to embrace vulnerability and continuous learning. This shift allowed me to focus on strategic direction and empower my team to drive execution. So I thought at that point I was bringing up in terms of what is leading and managing. I would leave my team to manage and I do the leading. And that's what I've carried up to now. I think with our small family business that we're into it, I try still to try and sit back and say, okay, can we do ABCD and leave those that are best suited to running with things, customer relations management, looking for business and collecting money, let them do that. And when it comes to certain fights, then they call me and say, okay, can you call the male lion to come in to bring this buffalo down? And it's crucial for leaders to change themselves first, because that sets the tone for team and organization. If you're not willing to evolve, it's hard to inspire others. And you expect them to do the same, they will not evolve. Leadership is about growth, and that starts within. Leadership and leaders who adapt to create a culture of vulnerability and adaptability and innovation enable their organizations to stay afloat and eventually go ahead of others. A key part of my journey was recognizing that leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions and creating an environment where others can thrive and they'll get the answers for you and they'll bring the answers up. And that mindset shift has been a game changer for me and it's still game changing. I would say I would respond like that to that question.
Wow. And I even got goosebumps when you speak about the change is inevitable and you're still changing. And this is where actually the public or anyone that is listening to, to us today should be able to level up and say, what is it that I can do? Enabling, asking the correct questions. That's really being strategic. No wonder you're the strategist. Now, leading change at your own level. Many people listening to us today are not permanent secretaries, they are not CEOs or directors. Some are. They are officers in here, they are entrepreneurs, they are teachers, students, and especially those students that have gone through the Mindset Change program who are just waiting for them to decide what they want to do. Do they want to join as the facilitators, or do they want to just impact at their own level? So they are very different people around us, and especially young professionals. So from your leadership experience, how can someone lead change, even if they do not have a big title or a position? What are some of the practical things a person can start doing today to lead change at every level, at their own level, whether in an office, in business, family, or community? You have worked with many, many teams and institutions. In your view, do people follow titles, or do they follow behavior, consistency, and result oriented? What are some of the habits or behaviors that make someone lead even before they are given a leadership title? And this, I know that these are some of the things that really, really make us shift from your own experience. Let the listeners hear you. Over to you.
Thank you. Firstly, having a clear direction is crucial to leading and for leaders to navigate change. It's having a compass in uncharted territory. When a leader knows where they're heading, they will align their teams, make decisions with confidence, and inspire others with purpose. Yes, from my experience, leaders without a clear direction often struggle with indecision and lose trust and can end up being reactive rather than proactive. And is being on a ship without a rudder, you will drift. Professionals that do not know where they are going will feel stuck and less motivated or struggle to prioritize effectively. And this must be avoided as much as possible. With clear direction, it doesn't exactly mean having all the answers. It's about having a vision and being more adaptable. And leaders who communicate their whys and involve the teams in shaping the hows tend to navigate change more effectively. And remember, change is the only thing that is constant. The whole world around us change, that we have to change all the time to be relevant to the dictates of the day.
This is amazing. This is amazing. We've got a question in one of the participants who says she's also been impacted. The mindset change has been a game changer for her too. I think this is Yvonne, and she's asking, how did you deal with support with unproductive people in your experience?
Coming through, some people appear unproductive because maybe they're just wrongly positioned. So I would look at the strength of those people and whether those strengths actually fit with the positions they hold. If that doesn't fit, either two things, you either find them the right position or you train them. And if you find somebody who appears wrongly positioned, train them for that position. If you train them and they are still not changing, find a way. What I avoided was asking to transfer people to other ministries because that's not a solution. And in leadership creation, you actually take on that problem and not passing on to others. So as much as possible, and if somebody had to be transferred, I actually went on to check where that person was going to go, and I'd go and plead to say, no, let him or her stay here for a while, for now, until they go to the right place. You don't want to go throw people to the lions in uncharted territory that they probably actually fail. It's not, when you're talking about leading, you are building people. You are not driving them over the cliff. So really, for me, I would actually first understand the environment. And my introduction was always the same. People, you got a new team captain. The team captain is not always the best player. He concedes a few own goals and he actually concedes penalties at times, but he's providing leadership and management. And the rest is for you, are the experts. I'm not. Thank you.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful. Not transferring people when they have failed in one place and thinking that if you take them out, then you have solved the problem, but are then creating a problem where they are going. That's so powerful. Seeing we have done our 30 minutes, I just want to share this. We are going to continue at another time because here we only 30 minutes, but there's so much and we had some noise in the beginning, but this is just so good. So because today is the 20 day of our productivity activism, I just want to share or to give us the final comments on how you are faring with promoting productivity during the 100 days of productivity activism, being an enabler in this environment where we are today, that we find ourselves and the supportive nature. So just share to the public just how you are enabling these 100 days of productivity, today being the 20th day. What are we going to do after this call?
Well, like I said earlier, changes has taught me that leadership is about adaptability and self-awareness. And transitioning roles showed me that comfort zones are where growth stops. You stop there, and I've seen the biggest opportunities for learning. If I have to advise somebody going through change, I would say embrace the discomfort. That's when it starts to happen. Be kind to yourself. It's okay not to have all the answers, and be curious. Always have some. There's always something to learn, and also move on in terms of the thinking. If there's a message I want people to remember about leading at our own level, is that leadership isn't defined by a title; it's defined by action, and you don't need to wait for permission to change. You start where you are with what you have and influence those around you. So every small action counts and collective impact creates movement. And whether you are leading a team or you are leading a project or just investigating your own unit, have those in mind. Inspire and push forward and focus on the positive. Learn from the mistakes that you make, and there will always be mistake. And the only problem is that it's not a problem to make a mistake. It's not a mistake to make a mistake, but it's a mistake to keep repeating the same mistake. So and that's really start from where you are and move on to where you should, nicely, meticulously, and with purpose. Thank you.
Wow, that is so great, and I know from this statement of don't transfer or don't get rid of people just to solve a problem, and I give kudos to ABSA Bank, who actually train the people that they want to improve. They train them. They've got a program with us that just trains them so that they can be where they want to go. So in closing, I just want to emphasize this. Change change does not begin with a title. Change begins with mindset, the correct mindset that you have. A change begins with behavior. Change begins with personal responsibility. So we must all learn to unlearn what we no longer serve us. We relearn what our new environment requires. We retain the experience and wisdom we gained, in our own environment. We do not need a title to lead. You do not need permission to change because change starts from yourself. So you don't need permission from anyone to change. You do not need a big office to influence people. You lead from where you are. You lead with what you have. and you lead with your behavior, your discipline, and your mindset, and be consistent in the things that you're doing. Change begins with individuals. Individuals change organizations. Organizations change the nation. And doesn't matter where you are, just to do whatever it is that you are doing. So thank you for joining us today, the 20th of the 100 days of productivity activism. And thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Mwansa, the strategist, for joining us this morning. Those who would like to be a part of the mindset change process, you can, the journey, it's a journey, it's a process, it's a journey. Please get in touch with us, on the scrolling number there, 09755244185, so that we can be able to start the journey with you, and we help you lead at your own level, because there's enough for everyone at any given time. So thank you for joining us, and apologies for having the 5 minutes ahead of time, but I think this has been really worth it. So thank you so much for all those who have been putting comments, and everyone who has been able to join us today. Thank you so much, and we are so pleased that you're part of being a productive. So do one thing today that makes you productive. This is your productivity ambassador signing off. Thank you so much.